Hey guys, welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs,
And I'm David Woldingham.
and it is time to talk some Blues hockey. The season's here, guys. Snuck up on us. Regular season opens Tuesday in Seattle, 3:30. Strange puck drop time, but we're going to talk about this whole season. Before we do that, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and on Spotify. Okay, so David, interesting season, tumultuous season, but I feel like there's a decent amount of optimism for the Blues.
Yeah, they finished strong. If they played the last 6 weeks if they played this season like they did the last 6 weeks, they'll more than likely snag a playoff spot. It won't be like a high end spot or anything like that, but they'll be in.
Yeah, for all that went wrong last year, the Blues ended up 6 points out of the final playoff spot that going to Vegas. They were 7 points behind anybody in the Central. Okay. Fourth place in the division. So yeah, room for improvement. But the Blues have made moves, David, and while they're not the earth-shattering type of moves that everyone's like, hold on now, this is a true contender. They're moves that may, they're the quiet, the subtle moves that make you better.
Yeah, and some of that was because they're hampered by salary cap issues. So
Yep.
they're doing the best with what they have because the money's tied up. So I mean, any little thing Armstrong could do to try help improve this team, I think he did, especially with that brilliant move he made with the was it the Oilers?
Yeah, the Oilers, speaking of doing anything you can to make the team better, just kind of a stunning move, kind of took the entire hockey world by surprise. Armstrong tendering the offer sheets to pair of Oilers, that being defenseman Philip Broberg and the forward Dylan Holloway. You know, that's something where it's not a full on unwritten rule, but it's something that just doesn't happen in the NHL. So yeah, absolutely a very aggressive move. And you're talking about a couple of young guys, right? Broberg's 23, Holloway's 22. That is something that the Blues were looking to do is to get younger, and I think they've done that. And young teams are exciting to watch for better or worse.
Yeah, because you never know what you're gonna get. You get the flashes of brilliance, and then you get the flashes of what?
Yeah.
but but uh but that makes every game entertaining and worth watching just because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Now, what the Blues do know that they're going to be without Brandon Saad for this opening road trip, is what it looks like. He's got a baby being born, so he will be with his family. Congrats to them. Preemptively, hope everything goes well with the delivery and everything. But that's family comes first. He'll be back in looks like 3 games, and then the Blues still trying to figure out a timetable for Oscar Sundqvist. He tore his ACL in March, and the timetable is definitely shorter than it was even 10 years ago. But it could be, I don't know. I was a little surprised when they were disappointed that he wasn't ready for the opening night. I would have thought, Thanksgiving or Christmas time frame,
I
but
was
I'm not a
I
doctor.
would have
So
said
we'll
December
see.
myself. I would
What
have
was
said
that?
Dec- I would have said December myself.
Yeah, I would say I think you're asking a lot for anything before Halloween. That's for sure. After that, we're just gonna have to wait and see. One guy we haven't talked about is, one of the more exciting names, That's Zach Bolduc, a 21-year-old, came up at the end of the season, played in 25 games, got his first 5 goals, and he had a strong preseason, David. He's going to start the season at AHL Springfield. So some hubbub and consternation about him not being on the opening day roster and being in Springfield. Uh, do you have any thoughts on that?
Um, Not sure the reason for that, quite honestly. Could be if they did bring him up, they didn't have a spot on a certain line and they want him to play with a certain group of guys. Uh, or it could be they just felt conditioning or something he wasn't quite ready and wanted to get him some time down there before they call him up. I don't think it's like baseball where you hold a guy down for 2 weeks and then his clock starts ticking, when you bring him up
Yeah,
type
you
deal.
see, you bring up baseball. For me, I wonder if it's not totally dissimilar from the Jordan Walker situation where they're saying, well, he's sitting on the bench so much, we want him to play. So they sent Walker down to Memphis. I wonder if Bolduc is starting in Springfield to make sure that he's getting enough ice time. Could be
Well,
a
and that's what
situation where they don't want him in St. Louis if he's going to get just a couple of shifts and have like 4 or 5 minutes of ice time.
That's what I was talking about. Where if they have him up here and they're going to use him, he's going to be on the first or second line, not the fourth line. So
Right.
they probably felt he wasn't fitting in just yet, and they wanted to make sure he got the time he needed. So
Well, and maybe you have some guys like maybe like a Dylan Holloway who maybe exceeded expectations and maybe kind of took that spot from him, be on the first 2 lines, and then they said, well, Bolduc's good enough to be a third or fourth line guy, but we want him to play more than that. It could be something along those lines.
yeah,
But
so
I think whether it's injury or just his performance and lack of performance from somebody else, I think he'll be with the club sooner than later at some
I was
point
like,
anyway.
usually with the grind of things, this usually ends up working itself out, as you said. As the season goes on, people pick up injuries and people start moving up and down, just so they can get fresh guys and give guys a chance to heal. So, I think we'll see him at some point, maybe by December at the latest. But I think we'll see him earlier, not later.
Certainly earlier than the final 25 games of the season. That's what he
Yes.
did a year ago. All right, David. With this season starting, we were good on Cardinals picks. We're pretty close. About what we were undersold the Cardinals by about 4 games in 162 games. That's pretty good. What do you think is going to happen with this Blues team? Was it
Oh,
92 points a year ago? There's your baseline.
yeah. Um, and normally you would want to think that would get you in, but it didn't this last year, just
Yeah, I
with
mean
how strong.
Dallas won the division with 113 points.
Yeah, I was just thinking with how strong the division was and how strong the West is. Um, I think you'll see an improvement from last year. I really do.
Yeah.
Uh, just second year under Bannister, younger guys have another year to develop and grow into their game. I think the Blues will probably have a 100-point year this year, is what I'm predicting, right around 100 points.
I'm with you. I was going to say 100 right on the nose. I think marginally better than a year ago. And I think that'll be good enough. They'll sneak into the playoffs. It'll be close. It'll be stressful, but I think they'll get in. And I don't think they will. They'll be a wild card, I think. And yeah, they won't be favored to do anything once they're in the playoffs, but you never know. You get there, anything can happen. So that's what I think happens.
Yeah, and until we really get an identity of this team after the first 10 or so games, so I think it's just all up in the air with how they play. Again, a lot of it comes down to all the young talent and can they put it all together consistently, or do they go in spurts kind of like they did last year? If
Yeah,
they
they
can put
got
it,
they got to find ways to generate offense.
yeah, and that might come down to your top lines again and who you're putting there, and so it'll be really interesting to see how the year starts out. If they can start out hot, I think they'll find themselves in a good place because they will have a lull. There usually is one in the season, but if you get that hot start, it gives you that little bit of cushion you need to maintain your pace throughout the season.
Sure does. Yeah, it's all about more offense than last year. They do that, they'll be fine.
Figure out their power play. It was abysmal.
Yeah, special teams got to be better. Really, everywhere but the defense, step up.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll keep you guys updated with all things Blues as the season gets underway. So make sure you check in with us here at Under the Arc Sports, and thank you guys for watching.